Today's session is going to be about the NetWitness Orchestrator. We'll talk about the fundamental concepts of the NetWitness Orchestrator with ThreatConnect. So now we'll be moving to the agenda. So here now we have 5 topics we'll be discussing today. The first topic is what is SOAR. Then we'll be talking about how Orchestrator and NetWitness work together, discussing a little bit about the Orchestrator architecture. Then we'll talk about the playbook and the workflow.
First, we need to learn about the need of NetWitness Orchestrator. Nowadays, companies have been facing major changes and major challenges as we need to be up to date all the time and ahead of all the threats that we face those days. Here is the solution, the NetWitness Orchestrator. Let's learn more about it and know how to leverage to protect our companies. But first, we need to learn about the Gartner's 3-pillar of SOAR. This concept is one of the main concepts that we need to learn in order to understand Orchestrator. Here, if we are saying SOAR, it's the same meaning as Orchestrator because both are the same concept. The SOAR or Orchestrator has been introduced to our field recently in security and in cybersecurity. The SOAR mainly contains of 3 concepts. The main concept is the SOA, which is Security Orchestration and Automation. And this concept manages a collection of tasks or a collection of steps to be done and automated without the interference of any human being. The second concept is the SIR. The SIR is Security Incident Response Platform. And this concept helps the analyst to solve the prioritization issue that the analyst faces, helping the analyst to tell them where to focus and what could be ignored for now and skipped for later. Also, it helps the analyst to investigate in specific phases, meaning that there is a specific phases and steps that has been configured in order the analyst to have the full investigations in the right direction. Example, that the analyst have first to log into the incident and assign the incident to himself and start collecting artifacts either through automation or manually, collecting those artifacts to have all the data related to this threat. Also then collect intel feeds and then he can start his investigation. We will talk into more details about these phases further in this webinar. And the third concept, which is the main concept here, is the TIP, the Threat Intelligence Platform. It's a technology solution that collects and aggregates threat intel data, not only from multiple sources, but it also uses many formats and understands many formats and aggregates from it data. Continually feed the most up-to-date threat intelligence data to your security system, like NetWitness as a SIM solution, and all the time you will be up to date, be able to defeat all the threats that we are facing nowadays. We need to learn more about the advantages of Orchestrator. Orchestrator have 5 advantages that we can leverage and make use of it. The first is Orchestrator has a deep threat intelligence, which is a main thing nowadays. It collects data from different feeds and sources, then it goes through its own machine learning. It has his own machine learning that processes all the data according to the threat assessment that he has and the CAL rating, reaching the best decision and identifying the false positive and the true positive threats by means what threats that he needs to focus on and what could be solved later. The second, and it's one of the main things within Orchestrator, is that it's an automated and orchestrated. Automation and orchestrator are 2 different things. Automation is a whole process that without any interfere in it. Everything is automated. And the second is orchestration. Orchestration is a flow of steps, and those steps could combine between fully automated steps and some automated steps with the interference of a human being. And here it's the main benefit as we are going to save the time of our security team in just copying and pasting information from one solution to another in order to investigate. All those steps could be done through automation, and we could use our security team time for more important actions to be done and investigations. The third point here, and one of the main points, is insight analytics. Through insight analytics, here providing threat intelligence data is not going to be enough. Using insight analytics is going to gather the data and organize them, and not only be a scattered data everywhere. Those organized data will be grouped using the associations between different indicators, like the IOCs, the indicator of compromise. The fourth point is the process-based case management. The process case management is a number of steps which is configured according to your organization process. By means, you have a process and you have steps in your investigations. You can unify them through the whole analysts and have it ready for them as collecting the artifacts, as investigating in specific alerts. All that is configured through a workflow, which we will discuss later too in this webinar into details. The fifth point, which is a positive point for Orchestrator, is that it integrates with everything, like NetWitness, a SIM solution, reaching to have only one solution solving all your incidents and all your alerts. Not have to jump from one solution to another. It integrates with NetWitness and other solutions too. Okay, now we need to know how SOAR and SIM can work together and how they can add up to each other. As we all know that the SIM collects logs from different event sources. Then it collects information based on the rules that has been configured and correlates it. Correlates those data and the rules that has been configured. Once it has been triggered, an alert is created. As an example of alerts that we receive, suspicious activity happened, and through this alert, an incident is created. But here comes the main thing, that through the same solution, the analyst starts his investigations manually. And after finishing his all investigations, he reaches the decisions that he wants to take, like blocking an IP or an URL, as an example. And now we make use of SOAR, as the SOAR use these detections occurred by the SIM solution, and all the instances that happened within NetWitness has been sent to this SOAR solution, and he creates a case for each instant. Then the configured steps through the workflow takes place, as we have mentioned before, that the SOAR helps the analyst to investigate in specific phases and steps. Those workflows have playbooks, and through the playbooks, every part of it could be automated without the interfere of a human being. Also, the playbooks could be integrated with different devices and help the playbook to take actions. He could take action by himself by blocking an IP and a URL according to how we are going to configure those playbooks. Also, investigations is based on the IOCs, the indicator of compromise, which simply collects and groups the data in a specific way and in an organized way. So it makes things easier as the analyst can investigate and also to reach the correct action in order to fight the threats that we have received. So SIM is strong in detection and alerting, while SOAR works better with orchestrating, automating, and deciding. All the data that is injected and detected by the SIM triggers the playbook in order to handle the incidents from detection to response. Let's have a bigger view of how the flows goes from NetWitness to Orchestrator and then what happens. The first thing is to gather the data. So the information is gathered from several data sources like logs, packets, and point data. All these are from NetWitness. All those data, once it's been collected by NetWitness, it's been sent to Orchestrator, and then Orchestrator starts his path And as we have said that Orchestrator integrates with many solutions, it also can collect data, as an example, industry data, open source intelligence, and premium threat intelligence feeds. After collecting all those data, then comes the CAL, the collective analytics layer. The collective analytics layer accelerates the time to understand the threat and be able to organize all those data that has been received using the indicators of compromise by grouping those data and identify what is a false positive threat and what is the real threat. Then it goes through a severity score through Orchestrator, and it's analyzing the instance or the cases that has been received in Orchestrator into high and low and critical. And then it starts its investigations. The investigations could be taken in two paths. The first path is automation, which without any human interfere, it's going to be automated totally through the playbooks that has been configured on Orchestrator. And the other path is orchestrate, which is using the human interfere in it, using many teams like analyst, incident response team, and threat investigations. All those teams, while they're cooperating, they're going to reach the right decision at the end. It could be half automated and half human interfere. It could be totally human investigation. Then it reaches the respond, and here's the respond. They are going to take action against those threats. And after this has been done, it's going to get back and enrich all the data within NetWitness and within Orchestrator. It's a loop, it's an end loop that we could make use of it. Okay, let's know how the setup is going to be on the customer side and how the architecture of Orchestrator could be. The setup for the source solution on-prem for a single site, the minimum deployment for it is to have the three main servers. The first one, application server, open source server, and PostgreSQL server. The three of them are a Linux-based server. The main one here is the application server, which is mainly used to run the UI and connects to the feeds and to ThreatConnect. And the second use of it is integration between the application server or between Orchestrator to the other solutions like NetWitness, VirusTotal. And also the users will only access through the application server. They could access DNS and email as an example. Internally, the application server will connect to its Postgre database, which is the main PostgreSQL database, which is the main and primary database, which all the raw data is stored. And we have the open source server, is mainly for indexing all those data. If the customer wants to use a cloud service and no need to have all those three servers within the site, he can make use of the cloud solution. The cloud solution, the minimum deployment for it on site is the MEO, the Multi-Environment Orchestration Server, which is a virtual machine installed on site. And through the MEO, the customer can access his instance cases and configure playbooks, workflows, and all the actions that he wants to take. The customer will not manage the servers. It will be managed by ThreatConnect, like the app server, database server, and search server. So the customer is going only to configure the playbooks and take the part of the workflows from his side through the MEO, the multi-environment orchestration.
Thank you so much for joining this session. If you need any support, please don't hesitate to contact us. We have here our email address for the educational support. And also please scan here our links so you can follow us on LinkedIn for the NetWitness education page and the YouTube page. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you all in future sessions again.